Okay, everybody, this is my spoiler review of The Last of Us episode 8. Now, this episode is the penultimate episode of the season. We're already at only two more episodes to go, starting with this one. And this one absolutely brought it here. I mean, everything was working in this episode. And what really stood out to me was how well paced this episode was compared to a lot of other episodes this season. I said my biggest problem with the show is the pacing, but this was like, oh my god, why didn't we get this all season? This type of just focus that was in this episode where there wasn't one moment wasted and there was enough time given to each character and to understand what was happening and to set up huge payoffs by the end of this episode. And I felt like this episode could have played like just a horror movie you could have watched on its own and really enjoyed it, just meeting the characters from the start, even here. And I think that this did such justice to the game at this part. It's such an important part of the game. But I think this is going to really give people a lot of excitement who've played the game, not spoiling the game, but for the finale and for where this show and this story could go based on the games because of how gruesome these games can be. And I feel like that there's been moments in the show that have felt a little toned down or we haven't seen enough just going all in. And this went all out this episode. It did not hold back. It really felt like, oh my god, I'm finally watching the horror show I've been waiting for, but also with that big emotional punch mixed in together. And really heavy duty stuff here that was disturbing, intense, and you felt every moment of it. And performance wise, I mean, Scott Shepherd for me just blew it out of the park as David. I would honestly say he's a tie for me with Lamar Johnson as Henry is the best guest star so far for this show, but it was a perfect performance. And also credit to Troy Baker, who plays Joel from the video games. He played James here. Also great. So having those two come in here really just do awesome performances and work really well with Bella Ramsey as Ellie. And Bella Ramsey just brought the house down this episode. My goodness. Just that last scene when she really lets it all out really made me excited for the future of Ellie in the show and the change this moment brings into a character like Ellie. This extreme trauma she's gone through here with David and how powerful it hit with her and Joel together. And I really like, if you play the video games, how well they did that final scene. It felt again like I was playing the game, but made it really exciting in a TV medium. And again, suspense working throughout this whole episode so effectively and building tension. I'm sure that was even more intense for people who haven't played the game. And having Joel get there at the end to embrace her was really powerful stuff and so important because I was so worried they were not building this relationship up enough. I still don't think they have as the whole season, but this really helps and was so needed to feel that and set up the finale. And we know the finale is going to be short, only 45 minutes, so I'm so happy they didn't waste any time in this episode and really got to the gut punch here and stuff we really care about and feel and is so important going forward. But like I said, what I loved about this episode, it was like watching just its own horror movie. You could have just watched it, jumped in, and really enjoyed this story, especially as it slowly revealed itself about David, starting with him as a preacher. Then you see that he hits the girl. Then you see he's eating people. Then you see he's creepy towards Ellie. And that all just escalated. It was a perfect escalation, in my opinion. And I think that it just goes to the performance as well, not overplaying the hand there, and really to the writing. This was Craig Mazin's best written episode so far. It was so tight, and it all just added so much to the story that was so neat. Like, this just feels like a saving grace episode for me for this show. I absolutely was. It was like watching. I was like, this is what I've been waiting for as a video game fan of it, and had the horror aspect and caring about our main characters and going there. It went all out, and it wasn't just with Ellie. It was with Joel here when he was interrogating those two guys. It was just like in the video game, and it didn't hold back either. It was gruesome. So I think it just restores people's faith that the finale is not going to be afraid to go there where it really needs to go there. So I'm giving this episode a 9.5. I thought it was excellent and the best episode so far of the season. And it honestly will be really hard to top with the finale, but I will say, not spoiling anything for video games, but as someone who played the first game, that it has probably the best ending this story of a video game I've ever played. So I'm really excited to see how it plays out in TV form. So, I'll be reviewing the finale, so make sure to tune into that. And please subscribe. It's such a competitive show. If you could share this video, I'd really appreciate it. I appreciate all you guys. I'm trying to hit 30K subscribers before the end of March so I can get around Tomatoes approval. And please follow me at Steve Varley Show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok for more of me. And I'll see you next time.